your hometown sports source. And this is Bulldog Breakdown, where Rolla sports come to life. We're here to bring you closer to the teams, the athletes, the coaches, and the stories that make Rolla special. Local teams, real stories, stronger together. Let's get in the huddle. Welcome to Inside the Huddle. It is Bulldog Breakdown brought to you by Mo Huddle Media. And this is season 4, and it is episode 4 of the Taylor Chrysler Coach Talk. Appreciate them joining us, helping us out, supporting us. And today we have head softball coach Ken Hohe. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Man, I tell you, can you believe it's already time, man?
I can.
You can. So you felt it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was ready for it. Second baseball ended, I was ready for it. So.
Yeah, coming off that heck of a season with baseball, what a run, and then you get going everything through the summer, and then man, here we are, and now it's time for the softball squad. 20-9 last season.
We're 20-9,
and man, and you were forced to play at Schumann Park,
right?
Because that tornado
took out our complex, so we went old school because that was a field before the one at the middle school. They played at Schumann, so we went back to Schumann for a semester, our first season.
Yeah, that I know that was again a little more of a challenge. Parking's a challenge, facilities and everything are a challenge there. Field's a challenge.
But the city did a great job. They put a batting cage in. They really worked up the infield. I don't remember any time where I felt like the field was an issue for the game itself. Yeah. Parking was a problem at times, but it wasn't major. And it all worked out great. It was a great season for the girls. So,
but now, hey, you're back. They got everything redone. Got everything back there, expanded on the
press box is great. Yeah, concession stand's nice. So, great facility. We're ready to roll.
That's exciting. So let's take a look about that 20-9 season. You graduated 2 seniors, both going on to play college softball, heck of a career on there. Talk about the season, kind of recap that for us.
Right. So we were 20-9, and yes, our two big guns were Emma Schwartz. She's over at Lincoln. She was our 3-hitter and she was our pitcher, and then our leadoff hitter and our catcher Abby Creedy, and Abby's at McKendree. And they finished second in the nation last year in Division II softball. So she ended up in a great spot, and Emma's in a spot she's going to be very competitive. So they're both going to do well, and they're great leaders for us. We were fortunate to have them, and they led us in the right direction. We had a great season with 20 wins, and we hope to build off that for this season.
Yeah, so let's talk again. With only 2 seniors, that means you got a lot of returners, and you got a lot of young returners too that all got valuable minutes.
Right. So we've got 7 seniors back. And you've got Peyton Watson, Ellie Meyerott, Sophie Kramer. They look to be in the lineup every day. Peyton probably is our number 1 in the circle, and then Ellie and Sophie will hold down those corner spots. And you've got Avery and Gracie. They're battling for some outfield time. Both of them are improved from last year. And then you've got Hayden Schutz and Carly Horn, and they're both competing for some DP time and some things like that. All 7 of them have huge roles within our program, so that's nice. And then our junior class, we bring back some juniors that got quite a bit of playing time. Marina Louth was our second baseman. Lexi Grisham got quite a bit of time as our DP. Then you've got Maddie Campbell and Aubrey Speed. They both did some courtesy running, pinch running here and there. Both of them are in the outfield, competing for some varsity at-bats. Addison Montgomery's much improved offensively. She's another girl out there in the outfield. And then we got some sophomores that played quite a bit. You've got Ashlyn Henson, who was our center fielder. She's going to replace Abby as our catcher. She's going to be phenomenal back there. Addie Adams hopes to slide in and be our center fielder. And then Reese Hoey, my daughter, she's going to be our number 2 in the circle. And her and Peyton are going to kind of flip back and forth between pitcher and shortstop, sort of like what Emma and Abby did last year.
Hey, you talk about Abby Creedy again, who's going to McKendree. When you have somebody that's been behind the plate for 4 years.
Right.
First 3 years All-State, we'll talk about that other issue later on. But, phenomenal. When you had that, now you got to replace her. That's big shoes to fill. But she learned.
But don't forget, Abby had big shoes to fill because she had Kira Crisco in front of her, who was a 2-time All-Stater and a 4-year starter behind the plate.
Exactly.
So we've done it before, and Ashlyn's she's going to do great back there. We're not worried about her. She's not here to replace Abby. That's not possible.
She's here to be her.
She's here to be her,
awesome.
and she's going to be great doing that.
That's exciting, man. So, you got a lot of keep people back. So let's talk about the summer. Again, softball is always a little bit of a challenge for the summer activity, right?
Right.
Because the summer travel season is a big travel season. It's a big part of sports today. and trying to get that time. I was talking with some earlier on, with some people, and you got the time for them to be individuals, and that works out great because you get individual development. But then when you try and bring them all back in, there's not, you can't really, that team time together is really critical as a team. And again, in most cases, when everybody's out doing travel, you love it. They're getting coaching, they're getting all this other stuff, but they're not together. So now it's your time to get them together, right?
Right. And most of our girls played this summer. Most of them did. Now, they were great in their attendance in our off-season stuff.
That's
we
excellent.
did the weights 7 to 8:30, 8:45, Monday through Thursday, and they were there. Most of our girls made a lot of those days. And then in July, we picked up and did 3 weeks worth of some softball specific stuff on the field and hitting and things like that. And we had solid attendance to that. Not perfect, but solid. And it's hard, you're juggling vacations and travel softball and other sports. So many of our girls are multi-sport athletes. We have wrestlers and soccer players and basketball players and track athletes. So
and they all have their times.
So we look at the summer as a time to develop. We'll focus on all our team stuff starting when tryouts start.
Yeah. And here we go. So now we're in that, right? What'd you learn most about this team coming in out of the off season as you got to pick up on the players, again, pulling from last year, but then after this first weeks of practice, what have you really picked up on about this
I think
team?
the two things we have is I think we have a little bit more depth than we've had in the past, and I think we're a little bit more athletic than we've been. I think we're quicker. I think our quickness is much improved. I think our overall team speed is better. We lost 2 very athletic players, but I think all of our girls have improved athletically, and we brought in some nice athletes to add to the mix.
So is that going to change how you play, or is it just going to accentuate what you already do?
I'm hoping it just accentuates what we already do. I want to be aggressive both offensively, defensively, and in the circle. We want to be aggressive, throw strikes, challenge hitters up, make them earn what they get. Defensively, we want to challenge ourselves to make more plays. Go make plays. And then from an offensive standpoint, we're going to bunt more and we're going to steal more. We lost 2 of our best hitters, so we have to be prepared to fill that. And I don't know that any one player fills those roles. So I think as a team, we just have to be more aggressive.
Yeah, so you do that by manufacturing the runs versus having maybe a big bomb coming in on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we have plenty of girls that can do damage.
Yeah.
And put the ball in the gap and put the ball over the fence. But I think where we're really going to exceed is when we start playing a little bit of small ball and using our speed and forcing the other team to play faster than they want to play.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's going to be exciting because I always like that kind of brand of baseball, softball anyways. And if you're able to dictate the pace, make them uncomfortable, thrive in it, you get that momentum going, that's going to be huge.
I think so.
Yeah. So let's talk about what's up next. You got the Sullivan Jamboree coming up on Saturday? No, Friday.
No, we play on Friday.
Friday. This is Jamboree in Sullivan. Do you know who all is going to be there?
Well, we play at 3, 5, and 7. At 3 o'clock, we play Waynesville. So someone we're very familiar with. Play them every year. And once a conference opponent and soon to be a conference opponent again. We'll play Marquette at 5. We've not played them in softball, at least not in the time I've been around. But they're traditionally a solid program, so it'll be exciting to get a chance to look at them and kind of make maybe some inroads into St. Louis. And then we play Sullivan, and Coach Crump does a great job with that program. They're always battling to be in the state tournament, and she does a tremendous job. So I think we're excited for the opportunity to see those 3 programs.
And then we turn around, we got season opener on the following Thursday, the 27th.
Home opener against Cuba.
Home opener,
home opener against Cuba. We saw them last year in our tournament. They should be improved. And then we go to the Union tournament, and right out of the gate, we face the 2-time defending Class 1 state champion St. Elizabeth team, who we split with last year. They beat us in the Union tournament. And then we turn around later in the year, we beat them in our home tournament. Then we get Union. We see them quite a bit every year. Then the next day we play Festus, and then it just kind of depends from there. So
I'm gonna say, and that Union softball tournament always a great one to start off with. Again, you get
competitive
you get the competition.
We know it's close, an hour away. Game times are the same every year.
Field conditions always work out.
It's always hot, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, it's been a tough one already. So so that's good. So when we look at this schedule, you got again we got Camden, got Waynesville on there. And Lebanon, so there's 3 conference opponents,
right?
And so that's kind of cool. So for future conference opponents, But then what's the other one that you're like circling? Is there something on here that you're taking a look at?
I'm looking at Cuba.
Yeah.
I always look at that next game. I mean,
I did this with the St. James folks talking about that, like going in my mind. I'm thinking the next one. It's always because every time I'll do it in baseball, I'll do it there. It's like nope, the next one.
For me, it's always the next one.
Yeah.
I think all of our players, many of them have certain games they have circled. A lot of the local teams, Owensville, Sullivan, maybe Union, those schools, because they have teammates, summer teammates in those programs, so they think of them. Some of them remember important key games from the past with conference opponents like Camdenton or Waynesville. But for me, knowing our team and knowing myself, I look at the next one.
Always the next one. I like it, man. That's cool. That's cool. So before we jump into some of the other things, I just want to call out, I've been doing this, is looking for partners, again, to participate with Inside the Huddle, because we've expanded to both Salem and St. James. And so we're having regional kind of community partners, sponsors, and then we're also in partners with them. And then we're also looking at even like larger ones that kind of cross the board. So we'll be looking for some of those this year in different facets, not just on Inside the Huddle, but we've got other avenues through Mo Huddle Media. So appreciate them. First thing I want to announce is Taylor Chrysler. Again, they come back as our Coach Talk sponsor. Appreciate them. And we also have Kobe Wan's Skills Academy. Got the 2 gyms out there. They got for volleyball, they got basketball, they got pickleball, they got wrestling coming in. They've got future things they're looking at as well. They got the weight room and everything go out there for strength training. So again, great job out there at the Wan Sports Complex, Old St. James Road. And talk about JP Maxwell and the season ticket, 104.9. Typically that's on Tuesdays from 5 to 6. It's moving to Mondays from 5 to 6 beginning on September 9th. And we always like to give shout outs to all the Bulldog teams on there, as well as the St. James teams that get covered as well. So we'll be talking about them. So appreciate them. So what do you think the strength, you've talked about the speed, is that going to be, what's going to be the strength of this team? Is it the athleticism and speed? What's your thoughts?
I think our strength, if we will play defenses, I think we can play some complete games. Yeah. I think we'll throw a lot of strikes in the circle. Offensively, I think we're going to put a lot of balls in play. We're going to use our athleticism in different ways versus different opponents. If we'll play defense, I think we can be pretty strong. Good. But that's a big if.
Yeah.
We've got some players had to move around a little bit. Ashlyn was our primary center fielder. Now she's behind the plate.
Yeah.
Reese was our primary left fielder, and she's going to be at shortstop splitting time with Peyton.
Yeah.
Peyton's going to take on that number 1 role in the circle. So there's some things that I expect to happen, but until they do happen, that's where we have some questions, or that's where we got to make sure we do things right.
I got you. That's great way to focus on that. Again, it's all about that development. Again, with you got your seniors, but you also got to let young people develop. And
right.
It ends up being a decent season, to plenty of time to do that before we get in those districts.
Right.
Yep. Get locked in. So we talked about Ozark Conference. So that's back. You got again Camdenton, Waynesville, Lebanon, Parkview, Springfield Central, and then us. So then this is right. One of the benefits of being back in the conference is that something like what happens with Abby, where she doesn't get that All-State nominee, even though there was good people out of that district, do not get me wrong.
Right.
But there's difference when you got your conference.
Correct.
Rooting for you, supporting you along that process.
We often are on an island in many ways, right? We're the only large school in the area. Yep. I mean, Waynesville's 30 minutes away, but you get to an hour to get to another school of our size. Yep. That's tough. We weren't in a conference, so it's not like I rolled into the all-district, all-region, all-state meeting with conference opponents now being my allies in these meetings. And it's also set up different than most sports. In order to be all-region, you have to be a first-team all-district player. And in order to be all-state, you have to be a first-team all-region player. But you can't jump players. So if you're the number 2 player at your position, and Abby was the number 2 catcher out of our district, she never could jump the number 1 catcher. Now, the number 1 catcher is a solid player from Kickapoo, Division I player, great player. But I think she was one of the top 3 or 4 catchers in the state. Unfortunately, she came in as the number 3 catcher out of our region, and that's where I had my issue. We didn't handle that properly. I voiced my opinion, maybe lost some friends along the way in doing it, but the way that it was handled was inappropriate, wasn't the way it should have been, and I wanted people to know that. Now there's some different procedures in place to make sure that those things don't happen in the future. It doesn't help us in our situation last year. It doesn't change things for Abby, but she was a 3-time All-Stater, should have been a 4-time All-Stater. Her best season was her senior season. That's the only time she was an All-State. And, she set plenty of school records, but having over 200 hits, I mean, that's a rarity.
Yeah.
So she's top 20 in the state now for all-time hits in a career. So
phenomenal. Yeah. And again, not to pull up an old wound or anything like that, but it is something that, we've had conversations about, and again, got friendship there too. And you know how talented she is. You just hate to have something like that happen. Anyhow, regardless, we're going to be back in the conference next year.
Right.
It's got to be kind of exciting for that. Again, adding to the rivalries back in and getting that, more honors for your kids, more opportunities.
More opportunities, more honors. From a scheduling standpoint, it's not as impactful in softball, because in softball, we all know the number one pitcher can throw every game if that coach chooses. Yeah. It's way more impactful in baseball because, a lot of teams didn't want to play us because they didn't get to throw their top 2 pitchers against us, and they all felt like we would throw our top pitchers against them. We can only throw our top pitchers once or twice a week anyway. It wasn't like we could do it all the time. Same thing in softball. We end up playing a lot more Friday weekend games, which is okay, than traditionally, because we have a lot of Tuesdays and Thursdays that are open because those are conference games, and everybody has a conference opponent. We don't. So that's one benefit I'm excited for, is to get back to a little bit more of a routine of a Tuesday, Thursday, every week conference opponent. Nice.
Definitely, just for scheduling, and like I said, get that consistency for the kids too.
Well, and we travel so much. Softball, but not that other teams don't, but softball travels so often. I mean, it's not unheard of for us to go to West Plains one day in a week, Springfield one day in a week, and Columbia one day in a week. That's 3 drives that are an hour and a half to 2 hours one way. So we're spending 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours in a bus just getting to and coming home from games. So it'll be nice to sort of have that more regulated.
Yeah, definitely. So final question, you do fantasy football?
I mean, I do.
Okay. What's your team's name?
Well, I don't have one yet this year, but usually it's something with Rollo or something with Bulldogs.
Okay. So you go that way. Okay. I always like to look at that. So are you going to be in one this year?
I mean, we'll see. I'm pretty busy right now, but I'm sure I'll find a night where I'll have a little bit of free time and maybe draft one up.
Okay. Just check on that. Okay, so here's the question. So, you're a baseball player, right? Played other sports too.
Right. Played football, basketball.
Okay, so you did it all. But now in this case, you're a softball coach, so you're going to be striking somebody out. Okay. Game's on the line. Bases loaded. We got a 1-run lead.
Okay.
You got to strike this person out.
Okay.
You put it in play. It's there ain't no double team, no outs. Okay. You got to strike this person out. Let's put it that way. You got to select somebody from the Rolla High School coaching staff of any, not just your sport, any sport out there.
Okay.
You got to select somebody that you want to face that you're going to strike them out. Who are you going to put up there on the plate?
And I'm pitching.
And you're pitching.
Any of them, all of them.
Oh, you're calling out everybody.
There's not a guy or a girl in our coaching staff.
Damn. Dude, we've had some confidence between you and Coach Eflin, man, laying it out there. So that'll be add to our thing. So we'll have a big Inside the Huddle extravaganza. We're going to have some races. We're going to have some high jump. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Calling them out. I like the confidence, man. Just bring it. Bring it. Okay, cool. I tell you what, man, Coach, thanks for joining us, man. It's been fun. Excited about the season, man. Great season last year.
We have some young players coming in too. We've got 5 freshmen, and I think they can contribute. Whether it's this year or not, we'll see. We're still kind of early in that process, but we've got some athletic freshmen like Carrington Ford, Audrey Meyer, Loretta Long. They've been playing softball for several years. We've got Olivia Helton, and Kennedy Yoakum's going to be our freshman pitcher. She's going to be a pretty good pitcher down the road. We've got Emma Nelson, who joined our program this year, super athletic. She's going to be someone we look to possibly this year, but definitely in the future. And then this year we have a foreign exchange student who's joined our program, Noah Hanai. She's from Japan. She got here Thursday. Team met her on Saturday. She's been practicing the last couple of days. So kind of an exciting time for all of us. I've never had a foreign exchange student play softball for us. I've had baseball players in the past and some football players when I was at Cuba, but I've never had a softball player. That's cool. Interesting for sure. Yeah.
So how many girls do you have on the roster this year?
22. We had 18 last year. We have 22 on the roster this year.
Nice. So you'll be able to get JV games in and stuff. It'll be a little tough.
And we added a third coach. We added Marie Crowley. She used to coach at Newburgh. She played college softball at Fort Scott Community College and then at Northwest Oklahoma University. I may have said that backwards, but she's going to work with our pitchers. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. So and Coach Croft's back to keep us all in line. So.
Nice. It's gonna be good. Yeah, got numbers are up. Got additional staff on there. Got a schedule ready to go.
I mean, just a lot of positive things moving in the right direction, and we're excited. Got the old facility back with a new look.
Yeah,
so
the upgrade on it. It's great to see. Yeah, still not turf, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there for sure.
So.
All right, Coach. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. Everybody on there, thanks a lot for tuning in, and make sure you check out the next Inside the Huddle episodes with the Bulldog Breakdown, and you can also find out things on Salem and St. James. Right now, it still is romoathletics.com, where you can find everything. We will be moving over to mohuddle.net, but that's all having to come as we transition out. So thanks a lot for being here. For Coach Ken Hohe, I'm Tom Brown. From Inside the Huddle to the Heart of the Game, we'll see you next time.